All right, so today we are back at the coin-operated car wash. We're at Wash Lane here in Te Puke, which is about 10-15 minute drive from our home in Tauranga. Now, Henry, who is the owner of Wash Lane here in Te Puke, has given us the A-OK to come out here tonight to film a video and to show you guys how we would safely wash a vehicle at the coin-operated car wash. We did a very similar video on the Omni Garage channel to this a couple of years ago. That got some really good views, some really good comments. So we wanted to refresh that, come out to this brand new wash facility. It's pretty nice out here, and we'll show you a few tips and tricks on how you can safely wash your car at a coin-operated car wash, which is really handy if you're an apartment liver, if you don't have a pressure washer at home, or you just don't have the setup to do this yourself. Coin-operated car wash is a great place to start and keep your car well maintained. Now, the first tip I've got for you guys is to be courteous. So using some of the tips that we're going to talk about in our video today, you may take a little bit longer than the normal person coming to wash their car at a self-service car wash like this. So for us, we've asked for permission to, number one, be here tonight because we've got the camera, we're going to take a little bit longer. And number two, the wash process we're about to do involves us bringing a bucket and some tools from home. We've asked for permission to use those here. And I guess the reason some of these self-service car washes don't like you to do that is it takes longer in the bay, which means that the next customer has to wait longer to come in. So potentially could impact that business owner. Now, if you're being courtesy around this, you might want to, number one, ask for permission, make sure you pay attention to any signs that are up in the facility around what you can and can't do. And then number two is just be really courteous. We're here late at night, there's no one else in any of the other bays. And if I was you and taking a bit longer, wanting to be meticulous about the way you wash your car, I would look for one of those quieter times of the day to come out and wash your car. So we're going to try and follow our normal home wash process here. Now, this is really good if you're an apartment liver, potentially you don't have the facilities at home or the space or the equipment that you need. A self-service car wash like this is a great place where you can maintain your car. And if you're going to want to do it safely, you want to follow the steps that we're going to take today. So we're going to wash pretty much how we normally would. So we do have a bucket, so we can fill that up. We can put some car shampoo in there, so we can do our contact wash without using the brush here. So we're going to use some DIY detail, some incredible suds in the bucket. You can use anything you like, but the process we're going to follow here is we're going to start with a pre-wash. So we're not going to rinse the car down, we're going to pre-wash it. Then we're going to foam it. So we're going to do step 3 and 6, and then we're going to rinse it. So that kind of replicates that pre-wash that we would typically do at home. We wouldn't rinse the car first. We would spray it down with foam, a high pH potentially, maybe a low pH, and we would rinse that off to try and remove any of the bugs, the grime, the dirt that we've got on the car before we enter the contact wash stage. Then what we'll do is we will foam the car again. So we will go back to number 6. We will fill up our bucket and we will wash just in a traditional format. We're going to use our microfiber mitt here, and we're going to use this instead of the brush, which is somewhere here. It's over there. We'll show you that brush when we get to it and the reasons why we're not going to use it.
And we're going to bring our own shampoo, so we've got DIY detail, incredible suds, and that's what we're going to put in the bucket for our bucket contact wash.
Yep, and then we're going to dry the car, normal kind of process at the end. We do have some drying aid we can use here as well, and then we'll be on our way. Now, I think in the last video we made, we called place like this a coin-operated car wash. We can't do that anymore because Wash Lane are operating very much in the 21st century here, and they're PayWave only. So we've got Apple Pay, Google Pay, or you can just use your Visa or MasterCard. I love that. You don't have to get any tokens or bring any cash with you. We're just going card payment. It's $1 per minute. I don't know, should we go $15, $20?
Let's go $15.
We'll go 15. We can put some more in there if we need it.
Please present your card or your mobile for authorizing. Thank you.
I love that, and the lights have just got so much brighter in here as well. I was just saying to Glenn, one of the things that I really liked about Wash Lane when we pulled in here is that the whole facility was lit up, but as you can see now, it's got that much brighter as our time has started, and it's showing here we've got $15 credit, and what it looks like is it's not actually going to start using that credit until we actually make a selection on the screen as to how we want to start the wash. So what we're going to do is number 3, which was our pre-wash, so we're going to select that. There we go, it's telling us it is $1 per minute. So it's telling us that we use the gun, and it is gun A that we're gonna get that pre-wash out of, which is this one here. So it takes a little while for the pre-wash to come through. If it's running clear, just keep spraying, and we've got it now. So now we've got that pre-wash on, we're going to move to our foam cannon. So we're going to select that on the screen here.
And why we're going to put the foam over the top is it's just going to give us a little bit more dwell time with that pre-wash, just to make sure that it's got time to eat away that sort of dirt and grime and the bugs that are embedded into the front of this vehicle.
Yeah, not so necessary that we sprayed it all over the top of the car. Generally, the areas you're going to want to spray are very low down. These kind of areas here around the back of the wheels, and then the front of the car where you're collecting the bugs as well. But ready to foam.
Smells like bubblegum around here, eh?
It does, it smells great. I like this. Typically at a self-service car wash, you get like the triple coloured foam. I like this. It feels a bit more...
what I really like is the boom poles up there. We don't have this luxury at home. You know, you're always getting the cable stuck around the tyres and having to pull out the hose and stuff, but this is all on a boom pole. Super nice.
So we foam the car down now. We'll just let it dwell for a little bit here. We've put the gun away. So what I quite like is that there is actually standby mode here. So when you've finished using each of the selections, you can just hit stop. Now it is still charging you because rightly so, we're using a bay, 50 cents a minute instead of the $1 a minute when we're actually actively using one of the products.
And that just helps you to give you some time to think about the selections you want to do. Correct. And maybe also pick out the right piece of equipment, etc., etc.
And I mean, this is showing us here live our credit ticking away. I think this is great. We're not on like a minute timer, we're on a dollar timer on here. So we've allowed this to dwell on the surface for a little bit. It should have broken down a lot of the road film, the grime, the bugs that we've got on the car. So we'll move to a rinse now. So essentially that's our foam rinse, and then we're going to foam again before we get into our contact wash. Now my only tip here is you don't need to be extremely thorough when you are rinsing. You do want to rinse the majority off because you're trying to get that road grime off the car, but you're going to foam again, so you don't need to get it to 100%.
And we're going to refoam the vehicle because this is the foam that's going to be on the car that we're going to use in part of our contact wash.
And then what you're going to want to do is fill up your bucket. So yes, you could come with this bucket pre-filled up from home if you do have a lid. And with these Yeti buckets, you can get lids, but we're just going to use the rinse function in order to fill up our bucket.
So there was a little bit of residual left in the line from the gun, and that's how we've got this, a little bit of foam here, but I'm going to add a little bit of DIY detail incredible suds because we're going to have an incredible sud of a time. I'm just going to put one capful in here. And then we'll get the suds really pumping. There you go, we all know you love a bit of that.
Now the reason we brought the bucket with us is because the alternative to using a bucket in order to agitate your paint to get any more stubborn dirt off is using the foam brush. Now this is fine if you don't particularly care about the paint on your vehicle, so this may be good if you have a truck or a ute that is really caked on with mud. You're not too concerned about inflicting any scratches, but the key concern about using a brush like this is someone comes along, they clean their muddy ute with it, it may get some dirt, maybe potentially some rocks embedded in the bristles on it, and then you go pick that up, use it on your car, and it is going to inflict scratches. So we bring our own bucket with us because that way we can control the wash media that's going to come into contact with the vehicle, which is our microfiber mitt here.
I tell you what's super nice, it's cold and that water is warm.
Warm water.
Which is a luxury for us because typically we don't use warm water, especially when we're at your place.
So what we're going to do here is just go around the whole car, wash it in the traditional format. Typically at home we would use two buckets, so we'd have our wash bucket and our rinse bucket. I'm pretty confident that the vehicle wasn't particularly dirty. We've gone through obviously that foam, rinse, foam again, if the vehicle was really dirty before we came here today, we may bring 2 buckets so we can do the wash bucket and the rinse bucket. Not necessary today.
So in all honesty, the time difference between me using the brush that's provided or me with my own bucket and my own wash mitt is probably pretty close to being similar. So I don't think you're going to save any more time. But what we are going to do is we're going to be able to control our wash media, which is really important, especially when you've got a nice car. You don't want to be inflicting any scratches, swirls, or anything like that.
So we finished our contact wash, so time to move into the final rinse here. Now we said we're going to follow our normal wash process. For those of you who have followed our content before know that our wash always starts with wheels. Now we have done that slightly differently here today. We have saved wheels for last because that means we don't need to bring a dedicated wheel bucket. We can use the residual soap and water that we've got in our wash bucket here. So what we do at the end of a coin operated car wash or a self-service car wash is we foam down the wheels and we apply the dedicated tyre and wheel cleaner at the end of our process rather than the start.
So here I have our typical wheel tools that we use at home. So this is for the barrels, this is for the tyres, and this is for in between the spokes. I'm going to put them in a bucket of our soap that we use to wash the car to start with, and we can get straight into our typical wheel washing procedure.
And I think typically the reason why we would start our washes with the wheels at home is typically we do it in the middle of the day. We may be battling sunlight, given we're night, we're in the dark here, we don't have the danger of any water drying on the paint, potentially leaving us water spotting issues. So we can leave that water on the surface of the car, get to the drying a little bit later because it's cold, we haven't got direct sunlight, and even if you were, you're undercover here at the self-service car wash. Okay, and then back to rinse off the wheels for the final time. Now our final tip is around some other equipment you may want to bring with you. When you get to this stage of the wash, typically what people do is they hop in the car, they drive away, and they just hope that they're driving fast enough for the water to shed off the car. Now that would probably be sufficient for us. This car is ceramic coated, so we would get a lot of it to shed off, but we want to make sure our car is dry before we head away. Now 2 options of what we can do here. Typically, if it was busy or you had people waiting to come in, move your car out of the way. Going back to that first tip, be courteous, get out of the way, and then you can look to dry your car. There is no one else here tonight, so we are going to stay in the bay until someone comes along. And we brought 2 things with us to help us dry the car. You don't need both of them. You can use one or the other, or you can bring both of them along with you. So we've got our leaf blower. So we're going to dry the majority of the water off the car using this, and then we've got some microfiber towels along with our drying aid as well, so we can add some extra gloss, some extra protection at the end, and then that gives us the ability as well to clean our door jambs. So we'll get drying. So then the final step for us, and something you could do instead of using the leaf blower if you don't have access to one, is a drying aid. So the idea here is to just add a bit of lubrication to the panel to allow you to dry it using a microfiber. Depending on which drying aid you're using, it may have some additional characteristics to aid in that drying process, including adding gloss to your paint or potentially adding some extra protection. And then this means when you're leaving the self-service car wash, your car is not wet. So you've got no chance of inflicting any type of water spotting, which is really important because most self-service car washes use spot-free water, so deionized water in that rinse process. But in the event that you're at a self-service car wash that doesn't have spot-free water, that means you've got no chance of inflicting any type of water spots into your paint. So there you have it. That is how we would wash at a coin-operated car wash. So some key things for you guys to keep in mind is, number one, it was that consideration. So be really considerate to the owner, to the people who are washing around you, making sure that you're picking the right time of day if you are going to take a bit of additional time. Then what we did is we did that foam rinse foam, and then we entered our contact wash. So we filled up our own bucket that we bought from home, used our own wash media, and really just subbed out the brush for our wash mitt. That way we can make sure that we are in control of what we're applying to the paint, so we're not incurring any scratches. Then obviously what we did is we did our wheels at the end. So rather than doing them at the start, we used the leftover foam and soap in our bucket to clean the wheels, given that we only brought the one bucket with us. That way you don't have to bring 3 along with you. And then what we did is we dried. So you don't have to use the leaf blower, you don't have to use the towels, you could use one or the other. We had both, which was great, which meant we could apply some drying aid to the car here as well. So that's how we would wash if we were apartment livers, or if we didn't have access to the equipment that we needed at home in order to wash. This is a great way to go about doing it. And Wash Lane here in Te Puke is fantastic, given it's contactless. So I can come here, use my Apple Pay, use my card. I don't have to deal with tokens or coins. Really, really convenient. Now, we used a couple of products that you can pick up from the House of Rags in this video. So we used the DIY Detail Incredible Suds, and then we used the C6 Ceramic Mist as well as our drying aid. So if you're interested in picking up either of these products or any other products at the House of Rags stock, use the code OMNIGarage. That will save you 10% off your order. Also helps us out as we get a little kickback off that commission. So that's it from Omni Garage. We're signing off from Wash Lane, headed on 15 minutes home to get this bad boy dirty again, and then we can do it all over again. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.